How's it going? Today's 10th of January, Friday, and we're gonna be taking a look at a market, what kind of opportunities we can find. In today's video, there's a lot of articles when it comes to military, and so we're gonna be taking a look at, starting with UK. From there, perhaps we're gonna be reflecting on what information might be published by Lithuania when it comes to military equipment again, but that would be who's manufacturing a lot and who is selling where, and there might be some investigations when it comes to some of the equipment. Previously, we were taking a look at some of the reports that was published and about some of those drones that can have a lot of foreign parts inside the drones, and sometimes can go up to 80, 86% or higher when it comes to some of the parts. So perhaps there will be additional information. I haven't read those articles yet. And from there, we're going to be touching on the energy market. As of now, that will be very important. Let's begin by taking a look at what information is available. First one, that will be MOD and all trade unions agrees substantial pay rise for key personnel supporting Navy operations. Eligibility or eligible Royal Fleet auxiliary employees will receive a substantial pay rise in 24-25 with the agreement including the key reforms and or modernization. I'm reading all this information for the first time. I don't know if there might be some information with any of these articles when it comes to military information. They might be discussing guns, all these kind of things. I'll try to skip that. I'll try to skip sometimes they can write down all kind of things in there, right? So I don't know. I haven't read yet. Right? Disclaimer, right? So they might be discussing certain locations, all this kind of what kind of equipment they might be building or purchasing, all this kind of things. I don't know yet, right? But anyway, it's not me. It's information, right? Well, it's written. The person is responsible for it. Eligible Royal Fleet auxiliary employees will receive a substantial pay rise in 24-25. Okay. The just interesting dates, right? So since we already in 25 and perhaps for the backtrack, this is perhaps what they're referring to, backtracking of financial years. They might be looking backtrack to previous year as well, I guess. By award include pay awards include the key reforms and modernization. Minister of the Armed Forces. Okay, let's forget the last names. Visit RFA Protease today. That will be Thursday, 9th of January. Yesterday's date, and thanks Seafarers for support of Royal Navy operations. In Thai operations, everything will be very important. So I don't know how long these articles are. Some of those articles might be very long. Briefly, let's touch on some important parts, and let's progress to the other article, right? That will be staff supporting critical Royal Navy operations around the world will receive a pay boost, ending a long-running pay dispute. The pay deal, which has been agreed by RMT and Nautilus Union, okay, it's kind of interesting, recognize the Royal Fleet Auxiliary unique contribution to Royal Navy operations as a company accompanied by the wide reform by organizations, including working terms and conditions. The agreement between the government unions and a significant step in the plan to reform RFA. These reforms will improve the wider employee offer for those serving in RFA and will ensure that it can continue to perform its vital role supporting Royal Navy and all allies. Today, 9th of January, Minister of Armed Forces, let's keep names. They might be covering again some of the details, right? To get it first-hand accounts for VK first underwater infrastructure, surveillance vessels, and all how it works contributes to maritime security. The minister will also present command pins and captain. Okay. RFA. Okay. So there might be some names, right? They're not necessarily covering pay package of percentage-wise how much we are taking a look at. Then we're discussing increase of pay. as well as sometimes it could be some of the pay packages can be more complex when it comes to perhaps other benefits, all these kind of great things when it comes to services. Perhaps that could be training, perhaps accommodations, right? All these things maybe not been taken into account, as well as perhaps that will be a lot of time away from family, kids, as well as additional holidays. Perhaps there's other things that could be added, right? But if anything, let's progress. Let's take a look at the next article. That will be government defense homeland security advocate reappointed. That will be government reappoint. There is a name there as a defense security advocate and to drive UK's defense homeland security export success until March 2026. Since we're going to be taking a look at exports, we're going to be reflecting on exports from framework of different countries of Lithuania, and perhaps when we take a look at this information, perhaps we're going to be reflecting from other standpoint of view, where some of the experts can land some of the obstacles there. If anything, what we're not covering as of now, perhaps SMEs, those small to medium-sized enterprises in UK, and how more and more SMEs should be established within UK when it comes to solving a lot of problems, instead of importing a lot of technology. So self-reliance and those capabilities. Other governments taking a look at this subject, that could be, for example, India. Sometimes it could cost a little bit more, this kind of equipment. In the short term, in the long term, perhaps there would be more competitive market and more opportunities for local SMEs to establish themselves, right? But anyway, Business and Trade Secretary, let's keep names, has been reappointed. Okay, Lord will report directly to Business and Trade Secretary and will continue his program or visit both overseas and at home to promote UK's defense and security exports, while supporting industry to benefit from export opportunities. Let's keep names. Work will directly support defense industry, its position and growth sector, and the industrial strategy aim to align the importance and strong national security with the high growth economies. We're taking a look at industrial strategy, and it's something that we were covering previously, as well as a lot of funds that may or may not be available when it comes to finance opportunities, right? So perhaps there would be a person who would be responsible for entire subject, right? Let's progress. Let's take a look at perhaps a couple other articles. Let's take a look at next article. That would be fusion grade steel production at scale in UK first. I don't know this particular subject that well, but recently, about 3 months ago, there was a new way that was founded in way how steel could be produced, I believe. But I might need to double check the way how steel would be heated. Usually, it would take about 2 or perhaps longer period to heat steel and or similar metals to appropriate temperature, where this particular step of the process would be changed in a way where temperature would be heated instantly. So it's something that I may or may not been taking a look at some of the information that was available about 3 or 4 months ago. I haven't read this article, but let's take a look at what this article is all about. That will be United Kingdom's Atomic Energy Authority working group has successfully demonstrated in industrial scale production of fusion grade steel. This achievement has the potential to reduce production costs by an order of magnitude and improve efficiency of future fusion power plants. In just its first year, perhaps there might be a lot of projects names and organization names. Let's try to skip those, right? Neutral irradiation of advanced steels and consortium has achieved UK first breakthrough. The group has successfully produced a fusion grade reduced action ferric magnetic steel of an all-industrial scale using a 7-ton electric arc furnace at the Material Processing Institute. Okay. Perhaps it's a completely different process. I don't know, right? Group team leader. Okay, material science and engineering at the UKEIE and all programs that one of the major challenges for delivering fusion energy is to develop structural materials able to withstand the extreme temperature at last 650 degrees Celsius. Okay, so perhaps it's completely different. And that would be some of the properties of steel that we would be taking a look at. So some of the obstacles that Institute was taking a look at. I believe at the time we have reached out to this institute. There was nobody to respond. The high temperature and low radiation levels caused by the high neutron loads raise as a result of the fusion reaction. The structural material therefore serves an important role maintaining integrity of the fusion power plant under those conditions, right? Since fusion most likely we're taking a look at the very, very high temperatures. Everyone's saying temperature of the sun, but to put things in the comparison, right? Based off EAF technology, which enhances purification or thermotechnical protocols, the approach has the potential to dramatically decrease production costs by up to 10 times compared to convention raft counterparts, utilizing existing and already scalable infrastructure within supply chain. MPA lead the trial with enabling manufacture, testing, and analysis of special high temperature steel, initially at a laboratory scale, leading to industrial scale trial in EAF. Okay, cool, cool. Let's progress. Let's take a look at the next article. Let's take a look at the next article. That would be Telford is at the heart of UK's defence minister visits aside behind next generation of tanks and armoured vehicles. Telford's skilled manufacturing base is helping equip soldiers with high-tech equipment and will drive the government's growth mission. Defence Minister, okay. State-of-the-art facility, Telford plays a key role in developing cutting-edge armoured vehicles and our British Army. Investment in defence has attracted over 56 million for defense manufacturing facility in Telford. Okay, 56. It's some of these contracts could be massive. If they can do at the cost, is great. New defense industrial strategy to help secure British growth mission and all create high-value jobs across UK. Telford skilled manufacturing base is helping equip soldiers with high-tech equipment and all drive government's growth mission. Defense Minister, okay. Her comments have this on this into the Ray Metal base systems lead. Okay. Work factory in Telford. Okay. I don't know. Most likely we're taking a look at private businesses, right? And or collaboration of two companies. Potentially Rheinmetall, that would be German company, and or base system, that would be something that we were taking a look at previously, that would be UK's manufacturer, right? If they can do it, great. Perhaps there might be a lot of opportunities when it comes to if people are interested, collaborate and or work together, right? The site has the forefront of production Army's newest tank, the Challenger 3, which is at the heart of the Army's armored fighting force and will serve as the most lethal tank ever used by British Armed Forces. Under 950 million contract, Challenger 3 production has generated nearly 300 skilled jobs with it's 300. It's not enough. We need to boost these numbers, by the way. Let's bring more attention to it. We need to boost, we need to increase these numbers by double at least, at least. Including 130 engineering and 70 technicians. Let's start slowly and from there we can progress, yeah? As well as additional 450 roles supporting across the UK supply chain. Contracts like the area key parts of the UK's government plan for change, safeguarding national security whilst raising level standards across the UK with the good skilled production jobs. Defence investment continue to make substantial contributions to the local economy, supporting over 1,500. Okay, that's a reasonable number. Skilled jobs and or nearly 40 apprentice and all graduates. And okay, that's still not enough. These numbers should be way higher when it comes to apprentice, but again, at pace, right? Slowly, at pace. Right. Overall, it's great. Everything was being done as well as we progressing from steel and steel manufacturing and perhaps reinforced steel or so, and where that steel could be used, all those kind of things, right? As well as we're taking a look at perhaps other use cases where manufacturing at the cost, perhaps if anything, autonomous vehicles without putting people in danger, and automation would lead to less people required to manufacture some of those vehicles. but I don't know if automation is there yet, since I can't find any information about automation and no progress compared to other governments and how much information when it comes to automation has been published by others, right? Let's take a look at some of those other governments and how other governments take a look at this market. That would be some of the statements when it comes to Lithuania. That would be Lithuania electronic maker insists it's not exporting to Russia, right? Some of these articles might get political, but in anyway, let's take a look at perhaps a full report. I haven't read it yet. That will be Lithuania and other Western countries continue to export war technology to Russia, and there is a study that's been published. Briefly, let's take a look at, since we're taking a look at this market, and let's try to understand it. Since sometimes, as I mentioned, all that equipment would end at the front lines, which later would be broken apart and would be taken a look at, and there's so many evidence of how much percentage-wise some of that and where that equipment will be coming from, right? Last year and the years before, Western countries, including Lithuania, exported to Russia technologies used by Russia in some of their artillery. According to, okay, there's a name there, Director of Economic Studies Council of Ukraine, who handed the joint Ukraine-British investigation team. Sure. Lithuanian companies accounted for about 2.5% of these exports. Okay, so they have done this report on themselves, which is great, and they still find a lot of technologies, right? The study shows that Lithuanian business continue to sell parts to Russia. Some of the Lithuanian companies, Lithuanian suppliers, are still involved in direct exports to Russia. This allows Russia to get the parts it needs from or perhaps from third parties or all this kind of infrastructures or supply chains. But anyway, more quickly and or facilitate the circumvention of sanctions. I haven't read this article previously, right? Lithuania ranks behind Germany and or Italy in terms of exports parts among EU countries in the study. Okay, he noted that exports have been declining since 2023. The current parts are entering Russia via other countries, right? So potentially a lot of businesses are manufacturing and they're selling parts, and some of those parts would end on the front line. Those parts could be manufactured for washing machines, all these kind of things, right? That can happen. Not necessarily that those parts would be intended to happen and at the front lines, but anyway. There's a name there. Former Deputy Economic and Innovation Minister stressed the need of digest distinguish between the goods products, goods produced in Lithuania and all those exported throughout the country. According to him, Lithuanian companies export very little high technology to Russia, but but a lot of it's transported throughout the country due to its strong logistics sector and all favorable geopolitical location. So it could happen, right? So if anything, we're just reflecting on this fact, right? In closing, let's take a look at three different developments and all with some of the articles that was published when it comes to energy sector, right? Since currently prices of energy very high, so there might be some developments, right? The first one, that will be company to submit the hydraulic fracking plants. An oil and oil gas firm has, as of now, we cannot find information, name of the company who will be doing it, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, an oil and gas firm has said it's preparing to submit formal planning applications to drill for gas near the North York National Park. Europe Oil and Oil Gas has told residents, let's progress without names and no location names. It will make an application for Council for its hydraulic fracking project, which will include a 30-meter drilling rig. Company has aimed to submit its plans last year, but I believe we were taking a look at this article, but anyway, but has faced opposition from residents and all politicians, concerns about the environmental impact. Chief Executive, let's progress now, said that it's successful that the project will bring the economic and no job benefits that will lower emissions by developing domestic gases. Okay, okay. Since there might be a lot of developments in other countries, not necessarily in UK, we came back to UK. And there was a lot of improvements when it comes to fracking technology. So maybe there is something that we don't know as of now, right? Let's take a look at other developments. How would be Europe imports record amount of liquefied natural gases from Russia in 2024. So since there might be a lot of conflicting information up there when it comes to a lot of governments diversifying and reducing how much they're importing, but if anything, let's try to understand if this article is correct. Again, I don't know if any of this information that I'm reading today is accurate. When it comes to some of the press releases, in particular when it comes to military, as I mentioned previously, sometimes it could be 20% of some information that would be accurate may or may not be done on purpose. So, sometimes it could be in this particular way. I know things might be published in this particular way for a purpose, right? So do not take any information face value, right? So once that has been said, we'll take a look at energy sector, and there might be again a lot of information that might be published in very particular way for purpose that only author of these articles understand. But anyway, Europe imports a record level of liquefied natural gas (LNG) from Russia last year, despite sanctions on Moscow and continued wide efforts by European government to reduce the reliance of Russia's energy or uh, some of those. Okay, Guardian reported. Okay, on Thursday. According to data provided by independent consultant, okay, energy on total. I don't know these companies, right? So I'll try to skip all these names, right? Well, I don't know if it's credible, some of the sources and where they're getting information from, as well as if we were to break down some of the case studies. Usually, the more we would go down the route of independent, and later on yourself, you would start to understand that it's not that independent. Sources, right? Anyway, since we perhaps right now what we are taking a look at, right, even now, when we take a look at this source, perhaps that support our previous press release that we need to begin fracking, right? So perhaps that's independent sources. Just have a critical mind when taking a look at this video. Anyway, a total of 17.8 million tons of LNG docked in European ports in 2024, 2 million tons more than in 2023. Okay, perhaps a couple more lines, and we're gonna progressing on and taking a look at the next article. That will be a report follows Ukraine's decision to end the transit of Russian natural gas exports to Europe via pipeline across the territory after a 5-year transit deal between the two countries export on the 1st of January. Okay, great. So perhaps in the future we can keep a track of some of the developments. As of now, it seems that that's where numbers are. Let's touch on last article. That would be German coal plants vital for electricity supply. Let's try to understand it briefly. We might get political. I'll try to skip some names and all information if we're gonna get political. Germany power plants run on hard coal remain an important backup to guarantee supply when volatile wind and solar power are not available. So potentially taking a look at different sources, right, including coal, solar or renewables, that would be solar and all wind power, right? If anything, perhaps Germany might be interested in diversifying where Germany is getting its energy from. But anyway, as we have taken a look at, perhaps there's still some of the LNG or liquefied natural gases that Germany is looking to purchase, if not right now, in the future, not necessarily from Russia. Perhaps other governments might be interested in selling these resources, right? Bouts of a dark and calm weather in early November or mid-December, known in Germany as a Dunkerflute. Okay, winds and solar plants were not producing. Germany abandoned nuclear power in 2022 and was meant to have launched a building program for the gas fire plant, which are less carbon heavy than those run on coal since then. But the program has lost the chance to receive parliamentary approval after a government collapse. We are pointing the discussion of how supply security can be guaranteed. I'm looking to understand if there will be any information published when it comes to Germany, or how much of Germany currently purchasing perhaps electricity from places like France and or Poland, perhaps other governments, right? Batter said, oh, okay, where guarantors compete in tender for fixed remuneration to provide the power of model-led or successful schemes of other European countries will provide incentives for both coal and oil gas plants operations. Coal must not be demonized. I don't know, can we put the filters on to perhaps making sure about catching, or well, I don't know this part. There was some articles when it comes to filters, but anyway, he said additional options for carbon sequestration and storage shall not be raised as reserved as operations burning gas for power, but also extended to coal. Germany has 16 gigawatts or hard coal capacity left and will continue 5.4% of all power generated in 2024, according to the industry group. Okay, so there's nothing about where entire German supply is coming from of energy, how much as of now energy would be self-sufficient Germany. But anyway, that's close now. Thanks for watching. See you next one.